Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's edition of Costa Cross-Examination. I'm your host. My name is Andrew Mwansa, sitting in for Costa Mwansa. Ahead of the President's address to Parliament on the application of national values and principles, the Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council raised a number of concerns affecting women, children and other vulnerable groups. While acknowledging progress in areas such as the education in child marriages, the organization expressed concern over persistent gender-based violence, digital exploitation, governance gaps in empowerment funds, and the need for fair political environment as Zambia heads towards the August 2026 general elections. Tonight on Costa Cross-Examination, we analyze the address delivered by President Hakainde Hichilema on the progress made in the application of national values and principles, and whether it met the expectations of NGOCC, as well as what more needs to be done to translate national values into lived realities. My guest joins me right after this. Once again, welcome to Costa Cross-Examination. We are broadcasting to you live from our Lusaka studios, and you're catching this show live on channel 271 on DSTV and channel 20 on GoTV. We're also streaming this program live on our Facebook page. That's at Diamond TV Online. You can be a part of the program by going to our Facebook page and commenting on the comment section, and we'll read your comments and contributions. But also, after 25 minutes, we'll be able to open our phone lines for you to be able to participate and give us your feedback over the speech that President Hakainde Hichilema delivered, but also if you've got questions to the guest that we have tonight. Our guest tonight on Costa Cross-Examination is NGOCC Board Chairperson, Madam Beauty Katebe. Madam Katebe, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Costa Cross-Examination.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening, viewers.
Costa Cross-Examination is now in session. Madam Katebe, I would like to broadly begin with getting your general reaction to the speech the President delivered last week, Friday. What do you generally make of it before we can get to the details?
Well, generally, I would say it was quite fair, quite representative, and yeah, like you said, when we go into details, then we will talk about the nitty-gritties of the speech.
You had given
Otherwise, it was quite representative.
Before the speech by the President, you had given a number of expectations. For example, you called for concrete interventions to strengthen survivor support systems, such as shelters, legal aid, and health care. The President mentioned fast-track courts, call centers. Do you feel this sufficiently responded to this very specific concern that you had?
Yeah, actually, the reason why I said it was quite representative is because of a number of issues that the President touched. We actually appreciate the mention of facilities, but the high GBV cases far exceeds the limited support that government is offering in terms of infrastructure. We would want to see government strengthening the GBV prevention and also the response system in critical areas of fighting GBV. Every year, I'm sure you've noticed that the budgets do not highlight the issues of GBV. So really, it becomes a problem for us, especially as women, knowing that the number of GBV cases are increasing. So we expect that to be considered at the time when budgets are being drawn. because it's quite a critical issue.
From the NGOCC's perspective, why do you think this purge has continued to grow? And do you feel government is doing enough to address the high numbers of gender-based violence, cases of gender-based violence?
Yeah, definitely we may think and feel that government is doing enough, but also you should understand that in anything where enough is being done, less is expected to happen. But unfortunately, we see the rise in GBV cases. Therefore, we still feel and think that government can still double the effort so that these cases can begin to drop.
But also, I think taking you back to the speech of the president, for example, the president here mentions that gender-based violence has remained a public concern in our country. We continue to address this vice through many interventions, including the establishment of a national call center, one-stop centers, and fast-track courts for victims of gender-based violence. And the president here went on to say that he urges victims, relatives, and others to report all instances of gender-based violence. The law must continue to take its course, and perpetrators must be brought to justice. These very interventions that we are seeing here, Madam Katebe, do you think these are lived realities that the establishments of these fast-track courts have helped in a way to address these concerns?
They have helped in a way, but like I said earlier, these cases keep increasing and keep increasing in a way that at times you may not even believe that these things are happening in our communities or happening in our homes. And this is the reason why we are thinking that maybe a strong legal and policy framework on GBV can save as a strong statement on intent to fight the scourge. We are doing that, government is doing that, but unfortunately, if we see the increase, then I think we should get worried as actors, both government and civil society, really the church, homes, and everyone else must get concerned and begin to see how we can double the effort in trying to bring down the scourge. We all know that this is quite rampant, increasing in numbers that you cannot even believe. Then I think then it calls for all of us to put our heads together. It needs concerted effort from all actors to ensure that this is done and done correctly. But all in all, we actually expect government to double the effort and ensure that this scourge is brought to minimal, if not to a close, because it's not actually good that we are experiencing such gender-based violence cases in the country, whilst we have all the laws that we intend and want to apply.
It's a very interesting situation you find yourselves at, especially as NGOCC, with regards to this very subject, because on one hand, the fact that we are seeing these numbers increase, it means that victims are reporting, and we are getting to be aware of these numbers. It means that the message is getting out there to the people that when you're being beaten, you need to go and report. And the reason for why you've got all those statistics, Madam Katebe, is because people have been reporting these cases of gender-based violence. On the flip side, would you consider this as a score on the fact that now people are not holding on to the, to the information that they're being beaten in their homes, but have gone ahead to, to report?
That actually is a plus. But we are saying this cannot be something that we should be satisfied with, that people are reporting. Yes, people are reporting and we are happy. And this is what is bringing out a lot of things that we never used to know. For example, where a man is abusing the children in the home, without reporting, the community cannot know about that. The police cannot know about that. But the fact they are reporting, then it is making a lot of sense to all of us. But then we are looking at a situation where we are saying, can we have minimal numbers or decreased numbers or completely eradicated numbers of GBV? I think that would be very, very interesting and good for all of us, men, women, the entire country, the president, and everyone else.
You earlier spoke about, reforms that will address this, this scourge. What would law reforms look like in your case as NGOCC? What would you call for, to be very specific, when you say we need to strengthen our laws? What exactly are you calling for here?
On that one, I would be very frank with you, Andrew, that there are a number of laws and reforms that have been put in place that if, as a country, we adhered to some of these, we can say we can eradicate the GBV cases. But then in each and every situation where you apply something and it is not working, it is the reason why we are saying, can we double the effort? Can we put our heads together? Can we move in a concerted manner so that all of us, I mean the actors, can work together and bring about something that everyone, the government, ourselves, will look at and say, we implemented this. There are a lot of issues that may need to be looked at. For example, when we look at those that are being abused and they don't have anywhere to stay and they don't want to report the cases because they feel the next day they will be thrown out by the same gentleman or whoever the perpetrator is. If we have safe homes for such people, I'm sure people will report and the perpetrators may get scared because they know that definitely they will be reported and people will know about it and all those things. Most of these people, especially the perpetrators, the perpetrators are doing what they are doing because they know that in this home, no one is going to report me to anyone out there, because when they do, then they will have no shelter, they will have no food, they will have no basic needs, so to say. So they do those things with impunity, knowing that no one is going to report them anywhere. But if government provided the safe homes for them, safe homes for those that are the whistleblowers, safe homes, so people will be coming out and knowing that even if I'm not here today, tomorrow I will be somewhere where government will take good care of me, where this organization will take good care of me, and it doesn't matter because I cannot have an abused child in the home, or because I need to stay in this home and tomorrow I need to eat and tomorrow I need to sleep in a safe place. So if there are safe homes somewhere where government has provided, and a lot of people will come out and report these cases.
Part of the expectation that you had also was that the president must address, digital abuse. The president did speak about the, cybercrime and is happy so far with what has been done to ensure that the innocent citizens have been protected. And he mentions of reforms that have, continued to be implemented to address, digital abuse. Were you satisfied, with the interventions government is putting up so far in regards to addressing digital abuse?
Definitely, there are a number of mechanisms that have been put in place that I would say, yes, we are satisfied, but I think there are issues where, especially 13th August, 2026 is drawing near. We see and we will see a lot of political playing fields that are not leveled, especially when it comes to our women. When we say the playing field is not leveled, is where, for example, the issues of adoption will soon be coming. and you find that for a woman to be adopted, the Secretary General or whoever is handling the process will have to ask for something that a woman must pay in kind for them to get an adoption certificate. I think those are the things that we would want to be completely eliminated. And obviously, we expected, because the president knows about this, he has been opposition for a long time. He's now in the driver's seat for almost 5 years now. I'm sure he knows about the issues that our women go through in terms of them receiving their adoption certificates. So we actually expected the president to be candid on that one and talk to the political party leaders, general secretaries, to ensure that the women are given the adoption certificates on merit, not because they have been asked to offer something in kind in exchange with an adoption certificate. Unfortunately, we are hoping that the president could have made a stronger commitment to safeguard women from being targeted for abuse ahead of August 13th. Yeah.
Don't you think the playing field in intra-party politics is very leveled, and the criteria for adoptions are very clear, that you must be popular and you must mobilize on the ground for you to be considered to be adopted? The same rules that apply for men must be the same rules that apply for women. And the challenge that political parties have had is that women expect to be given these adoption certificates on a silver plate when they haven't been mobilizing in the background to ensure that they get popular enough so that when these adoptions begin, it's easier for them to be the favorites and, get the adoption certificate. Don't you think the blame, on rather you punching the blame on political parties, but largely the blame must be on women, that they're not doing enough to ensure that they set themselves up for the challenge?
Unfortunately, Andrew, the opposite is true, because if there are people that begin to interact with their communities, their electorates, their constituencies, their wards, it's actually the women. The women are the only candidates that you find that even before they go to interact with the electorates, they are taken through what I would call class. They are taught on how to interact with their communities, with their electorates, with their wards, with everyone else. They are taught. They are given the space. We tell them how to interact with the people on the communities, in the communities, on the ground, how to behave like. It's just the women that go through that. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, we are already training our women. The women are on the ground. Everything is done by the women. At the end of the day, the only thing that our women do not have, most of them, is the money, is the finances to go and give to the electorates. Why am I saying money to go and give to the electorates? Because politics in Zambia has been commercialized. When you have more money, it doesn't matter whether you've been on the ground or not. The fact that you have money to partly contribute to the political party and also to finance your own campaigns, then you are the popular one. Otherwise, our women are very popular on the ground, and sometimes they get very disappointed that they will be on the ground from when I know of so many women that have been on the ground from 2021. And today, when it comes to adoption certificates, the process and all, you find that men are now slotted into the constituencies where our women have already softened the ground. So it becomes very, very difficult for our women. When I say they have softened the ground, it's because the political party leaders, the presidents, the secretary generals, I will go to them as Beauty Katebe, and I tell them I want to contest in Lusaka Central. My president will tell me, just continue campaigning, continue talking to the people on the ground. And I will do that. The ground is softened in Lusaka Central constituents by me, Beauty Katebe, and then a man is brought in. Even if a man is brought in 2 or 3 months before elections, they will still vote for that man, because the ground was softened by me using the political party name, and then the one who comes to benefit from that is a different person. The main reason is that our women do not have the resources. You know, I've said it again, politics in Zambia have been commercialized. So even when you have been on the ground, everyone knows you. The one who's going to take over is the one who has the money.
But your concern was addressed by the president, Madam Katebe, because one of the issues that the president mentioned under democracy and constitutionalism was that his government is promoting inclusivity, and it has done so by amending the constitution to ensure fair and equitable representation of our people. Through Bill 7, our constitution was amended, and there's 40 safe seats for the vulnerable in our society. And the distribution goes and favors the women. 15 from the 40, 15, are women, 10 are men, and 5 are persons living with disabilities. Aren't you excited, Madam Katebe? I know for a fact that this process, you highly, criticize it when it came. But now that guaranteed in the National Assembly, there'll be safe seats for women. Aren't you excited?
Okay, firstly, I would want you to give me the percentages. 40 seats for women out of how many seats?
226.
226.
That's 15 for women, okay, 10 for men, 10 for youth, and 5 for persons living with disabilities.
Okay. So definitely you are now looking at the percentages. So if you look at the percentages and you talk over the figures that you have talked about already in percentage, that is a very negligible figure. And at the end of the day, this may cost the women an adoption, because now political parties already, the ones that we have already talked to, they are saying no, but we may not adopt so many women because you already have seats in parliament. But when you talk of percentages, you will realize that this is a very negligible number that you cannot even understand. We still hope that political parties will adopt many women. That is one. And when we say we hope that political parties will adopt many women, we are actually already training the foot soldiers that political parties that will adopt many women, we will actually campaign directly, because we will be campaigning for women. Then it means we are directly campaigning for that political party, because we already see and sense the danger in terms of how many women will be adopted. And we are already encouraging our women that if they have already worked and softened the ground, they should go it independent if they are not adopted by their political parties. So this is what we are working on. We appreciate whatever it is that has been given to the women, but if you ask me, I will tell you the numbers are very, very small. It's very, very negligible.
But indeed, this is a step in the right direction.
Of course it is. Of course it is, especially if it will not disadvantage our women, especially those that are going through adoptions. If it is not going to disadvantage them, because already, as I mentioned to you, some political parties are already talking about we already have the women in parliament, so why adopt some more?
But part of the concern that you still had, Madam Katebe, was around the August elections and that the environment must be free and fair and that there must be an even environment for everyone to participate. The President did address this, and he did commit that we are going to have a credible, free, fair and peaceful elections. He also goes ahead to mention that democracy, thrives on ideas, persuasion, and respect for divergent views. Are you confident that as we approach August, the environment will be free and fair, the political playing field will be leveled, and our democracy will thrive?
Okay, the free, fair, and peaceful elections is what we hope for, is what we pray for, and we are happy that the President actually indicated that that is how it is going to be. Our hope, again, and prayer is that this does not just end at pronunciation. It must end at being implemented, being watched, and that every political player is left to campaign, is left to indulge, is left to enjoy the democracy that the President pronounced, and we will be very happy. It has happened before that presidents in this country have pronounced the free, fair, and peaceful elections. At the end of the day, you find that only the party in government is enjoying the free, fair, and peaceful campaigns. All the rest are incarcerated. All the rest are victimized. All the rest it has happened in successive governments. The fact that the ruling party today went through a lot of persecution and a lot of trouble when they were in the opposition, I know they know how it feels like. And if the President pronounced in his address the other day that he expects the elections or the playing field to be fair, free, and peaceful, then we are happy, because definitely we know he knows what that means. That is our
don't you think this man is a man of his? Don't you think President Hakainde is a man of his words? Because from the by-elections that we've seen so far, for example, the Chawama parliamentary by-election, very peaceful, by-election. Don't you think these by-elections that we've had have set a litmus test of what his leadership could be like, and that we must trust that the same level of tolerance to divergent views that we've seen in these by-elections is what will translate into the general elections? Do you think that is a litmus test? Definitely we will trust and hope that our trust is not betrayed. We will trust that and hope that we are not betrayed. What are some of the concerns and gaps that you've seen in the growth of our democracy that you feel wasn't addressed, in his address?
I actually said the address was very inclusive. The address was very clear. And my only appeal to the President now is that whatever it is that we listened to, whatever it is that he has promised the people of Zambia can come to fruition, and that is going to be very, very good. Like I said, we've seen these things happen before, where the sitting president will lip service the peace, the fairness, the free elections, but then at the end of the day, you find that some political parties are not allowed to campaign freely, some political parties are victimized, so we actually expect, like you said earlier, that we should trust, because the president has given us a litmus test that the elections are free, the by-elections have been free and fair. That is what we expect even in the general elections. We expect that, as I said earlier, other political players will be given chance to do their work, and also that the president will allow the checks and balances provided by the opposition political parties and also by the civil society organizations.
Well, in case you're just joining us, we're discussing the address that President Hakainde Hichilema made to Parliament on Friday. Our guest is Chairperson of NGOCC, Madam Beauty Katebe. The phone lines are open. You can come through and give us your contribution or questions that you have tonight, and it will soon be reflecting on the screen. Part of the expectation that you had, Madam Katebe, was for assurance that the delimitation process would be transparent. This wasn't spoken about in the speech of the president. Did this omission worry you as NGOCC?
It is quite worrying, especially that where we have seen these meetings held already. I saw one in Mazabuka, I saw one in Mwansa. I can't remember the other one where the participants up in arms, something is not properly done, the expectations are not met. So already this is a bit worrying. We, like you said, we opposed the amendment, the bill number 7, which is now law. We opposed that. And some of the issues that we were raising are the same issues of how will the delimitation be handled, how will this be handled, will the 2019 report be considered, and all those issues. And I see that the same things that some of us were opposing to are emerging in the meetings that are being held now. So we really don't know. This bill is now law. The only thing that we look at Zambians and also as NGOCC, as a WASIS forum, is just the implementation. We expect that ECZ will do its work fairly and democratically, so that the people of Zambia get what they expected. Most of the people that we visited, the reason why they really wanted the Bill 7 to go through was because they felt delimitation was going to be free, fair, and representative. So these are the issues that we are seeing. The community members, those who are participating in these meetings, are raising. Some of them raised in not a good way because they feel dribbled. And then we expect to see that government will look into this in a fair and a democratic manner.
What exactly are your fears, or what are your fears with regards to delimitation?
The fear would be, for example, if government decided to delimitate the constituencies in which they are popular or in their strongholds. For example, if they go in Choma, and Choma is divided into 3 or 4, and they go to Mwansa and divide Mwansa into, okay, they add 3 in Choma and add 1 constituency in Mwansa. Those are the fears that a lot of people, a lot of Zambians have, which as a Zambian and the one that opposed to the Bill 7 amendment, the Constitution amendment, would be wanting to see how fair government will be in terms of delimiting the constituencies. Where will concentrate more, and which regions will they put more of the constituents than others. If it is going to be fair and properly done, equally distributed, according to the criteria that they will use, I think it will be okay. Like I said, we opposed to the constitution amendment. We cannot continue doing that because now it is law, but we cannot keep quiet. We will still want to see the implementation of the same law that has been crafted, so that we keep advising our people on how fair and how good the law is. Of course, the implications also, we will be able to indicate to our people that these are the implications of what we have now, and these are the good things of what we have now, and these are the bad things of what we have now. It is our duty, it is our job also to keep indicating to the people of Zambia that what we have is this, and what it is going to give us is this.
But frankly speaking, what you're seeing now doesn't impress you with the delimitation exercise that has begun?
Unfortunately, with the 2-3 meetings that I've watched, I see that not just beauty, but citizens in those areas are not happy. I watched the Mazabuka one, I watched the Mansa one. In both sittings, the citizens were not very pleased with what ECZ is doing.
The president emphasized asset recovery and anti-corruption efforts. However, NGOCC raised concerns about the diversion of youth and women empowerment funds. Did the speech, Madam Katebe, adequately respond to those specific governance risks that you had?
Well, I would say yes and no, but maybe if you talk about asset recovery, for me, I would still commend government for this asset that was gotten in Roma, where it was given to the women that are incarcerated with children. I think that we commend government for that. And we actually expect that many more assets that will be confiscated or whatever forfeited to the government may be given to the women and the children, so that, remember, I talked about the safe homes and all that. So some of those properties can be given to the women, like the president did in the earlier property that was confiscated.
From the word
not
go,
really that. Yeah, you can go ahead.
From the word go, from the time that President Hakainde Hichilema was sworn in as president, he's been very consistent and very clear on one issue, that his government is going to fight present, past and future corruption. So far, as we conclude the 5-year mandate of the UPND, the first 5-year mandate of the UPND, are you happy with how this corruption is being fought? And do you think truly present, past, and future corruption is being fought?
I would say partly I would say we are happy, but I think we, when I look at the fight against corruption, I see that the past are fought more than the present. I'm sure you know that there are certain people that have been mentioned in some few dubious engagements, and we have seen them still walking the streets of Lusaka, the streets of whatever town they are in. Meanwhile, those that are past, especially coming from the previous, the immediate past government, are being incarcerated. So definitely now we wait for the future. We see if those that are currently engaging in dubious activities today will be incarcerated tomorrow. I would actually be happy if we see a minister who's serving today and has been mentioned in engaging in activities is just asked to resign, but also tried and incarcerated. It would be good.
We have the first caller calling us from Sesheke, Mr. Gabriel. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Costa Cross-Examination. Gabriel Shakapoko. We seem to have lost that caller. You can come through and call us again. You were mentioning that there seems to be much more emphasis from your observation on fighting past corruption, and you'll be happy if a sitting minister would be investigated and made to resign on moral grounds. But we've seen a number of DCs, a number of permanent secretaries, Madam Beauty Katebe, under this administration being let go of by President Hakainde Hichilema for corruption allegations. Just a few days ago, we had a briefing by the Anti-Corruption Commission. In the briefing, they cleared Minister Matambo, P.S. Kawana, and Solicitor General Marshall Muchende. So yes, they were investigating, but they didn't find anything, on them. Must we fault the UPND for being clean people, for being non-corrupt people?
Not really. If they are being tried and freed, then we take it they are free. But if another government comes in tomorrow and the same people are brought back and incarcerated, I think those are the things that we should be saying must not be entertained. If a permanent secretary today is found wanting, must be tried fairly, freed fairly, or incarcerated fairly. So if we see a lot of them just being laid off, being asked to resign, then the question is, are we sure if tomorrow Beauty becomes a president, will not incarcerate Andrew because Andrew violated the constitution of this republic? So anything that happens today today is better than something that happens. Look at how many ministers, permanent secretaries have been incarcerated from the previous government. Why did not this happen then? And even today, if tomorrow we will have people being incarcerated because tomorrow UPND is not in government, there is Beauty Katebe's party in government, and UPND permanent secretaries and DCs and everyone is incarcerated, then I think the country is not running at a very correct pace. We need to see those that violate the constitution, those that violate the laws, incarcerated today and not tomorrow.
Then you raise a very important point, because it's the same ACC that existed in the previous government, and the same ACC didn't incarcerate these ministers and permanent secretaries you're talking about. What does this then tell us about the credibility of the commission? But before you respond to that question, we have a caller from Chavuma. Thank you so much for joining us on Costa Cross-Examination this evening. Mr. Daniel
Hello.
Katata. Yes, sir.
Hello. Good evening, Mr. Mwansa.
Good evening to you, Mr. Katata.
How are you?
Very well, thank you, sir.
I wanted to find out from the madam, maybe how best does she think the delimitation can be done? Because she's saying people are not happy. How best can it be done?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Katata, calling us from Chavuma. Would you like to respond to that? But before you respond to how best you think delimitation could be done, Madam Katebe, I would like to get your comment on the credibility of the Anti-Corruption Commission, because if it's the same commission that existed in the previous administration and didn't find anything wrong with those that are in jail today, but have found something on them now that the other government, went out. What does this tell them? What does it tell us about their credibility then? Do they work under instructions?
I would actually not talk about the credibility of the Anti-Corruption Commission or Drug Enforcement Commission. I will only talk about the independence of the three arms of government. I think that is what is compromising our democracy in this country. The three arms of government do not operate independently. And those are the things that if I were president today, I would want to work on. How do we ensure that the three arms of government operate independently without any interference from the executive or any other arm infringing or lumping itself on the other arm? The credibility of the SEC, I think, is coming from the same issue that I've talked about. Are they independent? Are they working independently? If yesterday beauty was free and everyone saw that I was doing something wrong and I was not incarcerated, I was not tried, and I'm tried tomorrow, why am I being tried tomorrow? Why was I not tried today and yesterday? Those are the things that should worry you and me, Andrew, because then the three arms of government are not independent.
Mr. Katebe came through from Chavuma.
And the independence of the three arms of government is what brings about the democracy that we cry for.
Mr. Katebe from Chavuma called in to ask what is the best way you recommend that delimitation must be done if you're not happy with the two sittings that you saw and people complain. How best do you think it must be done? That's a question.
Not that I'm not happy, Mr. Daniel. Not that I'm not happy. I think my response was to the fact that the delimitation is looking like people where meetings have been held have not been happy. And I mentioned that I watched one from Mazabuka and I watched one from Mansa, and the two meetings are like raising the same issues of not being happy with what ECZ is doing. So my response to that is it's not about me indicating to ECZ what they should do. It's about ECZ wanting to retain their credibility by doing the correct thing. That is all we should ask for as Zambians.
I'll pick two calls before we conclude. But Kebi on Facebook, Kebi Matongo says, women should fight on merit and not gender. Ignatius says, watching you from Chongwe, like petroleum filling stations. HH is a listening president who is watching what is happening with the process of delimitation. Don't worry about that. Ignatius again says, Madam, just say that you're happy. This man means well, for the country. But Kebi says that women, especially going into these elections, must fight on merit and not gender. What would be your reaction to this comment?
He is right.
And on top of that,
I mentioned in my preamble that the only candidates in this country that go through training to be taught how to handle the electorates, how to interact with the people in the communities are the women. That is the reason why you should know and understand that they are actually competing on merit. They are actually above merit because they are even going through class, which Andrew cannot go through. Beauty is in class today so that she can become a councillor, while Andrew is playing outside because he knows that he's a born leader. And yet it's vice versa. A born leader is a woman, because a woman can lead the home. When you have a 15-year-old or 17-year-old boy, you leave them with a 9, 10-year-old girl. The girl will be leading, will be cooking for them, will clean the house, will make sure that they eat at the right time, not the boys. So a woman is a born leader, plus the training, plus what we go through. We actually get these things on merit. The only thing is that when it's work that cannot be paid for, unity, caregiving, all that, we leave it to the women because they know it very well. When it comes to work that people get paid for, then the women must wait for the men to decide. I think that is where we have a problem. Otherwise, women go into these positions on merit. The reason why we mention women and affirmative action and all that, it's because I mentioned earlier, the women do not have the resources to get themselves these positions. That is why we are here talking about women being put in those spaces, being not because they don't know anything, but because in Zambia, when you want to be a politician, you need to have money. Our women do not have the money, do not have the resources, but they have the capacity, they have the capability, and they have the skill to run this country.
We have Anthony calling us from Chililabombwe. Anthony, good evening.
Good evening, Andrew. And how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good evening, Madam Katebe.
Good evening, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to hear your views concerning when the president addressed the nation. I want to talk about the issue of unity, especially that we are approaching or going towards the elections. Because a lot of things that when it comes to politics, there's the issue of tribalism. But when it comes to these other sectors, you will not hear the issue of tribalism. But once it comes to politics, you see we have seen some political big figures talking about tribalism. We heard the president, what he said on Friday, concerning the issue of one Zambia, one nation. Now, as I've been following you, Madam Katebe, I've been following you, even during Bill 7, I've been following you. But now, the problem I have with you, NGO, some of you, not all of you, is that some of you, you are sided. Maybe you decide to be with a certain group of, say, of politicians, not being fair or being on the middle. That's the problem I have with you, Angel. So my question to you, Madam Katebe, is that what is your comment concerning the unity, especially that you are going towards the election? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anthony Kuchaya, for calling us from Chililabombwe. Madam Katebe, would you like to respond to that? In fact, just on top of that, part of the issues President Hakainde Hichilema mentioned in his speech was that over the past 4 years, his government has made progress in fostering patriotism and national unity, but also is asking what you think of the state of unity in our country with these issues that I imagine, issues, for example, of tribalism and all those issues.
Thank you so much, Anthony. In the past, we've seen political leaders have advanced the issue of tribalism. And for some time, it remained with them, I mean the politicians in their circles, because even when you look at how we interact in communities, you'll find that there are all these intermarriages. I think if I talk about my house, in my house, I think we have the Bemba Wushi blood, we have the Ngoni blood, and we have the Tonga blood in my house. So when you talk about tribalism, in the past, I will emphasize, in the past, tribalism was with the politicians. Unfortunately, today, you and me, Anton, we have bought into this very wrong concept of tribalism, and now we have also joined, where for the first time in this country, you would enter a room and the first thing the person will ask you, oh, are you Lozi? You are tall. Do you speak Lozi? Are you Tonga? Are you Bemba? Those things, I never saw them. I never heard of them the time I was growing up until today. That now when you walk into an office, one will be able to introduce themselves that, okay, so, Katebe, Katebe from Northern or Luapula, Katebe, such kind of things. We never entertain that. But unfortunately, you and Miba Anton have fallen into the trap of the politicians. The politicians were using this to divide us so that they can win sympathy in some regions. But then at the end of the day, because we are talking about it every day, we are seeing it every day, politicians are pronouncing it every day, and now it has come to us. How I wish one day you and Miba Anton would wake up and find all this thing is gone, because it is going to destroy our children. I've given you an example. We have Mbuka here, we have Wushi, and we have Tonga. How do I talk to my children? Because if I say, these Tongas, my daughters, their father's mother is Tonga. These Tumbukas, my children, their father's father is Tumbuka. I'm Oshi. So it's quite complicated. I'm just not imagining at which point you and Miba Anton joined in this fight that was brought by the politicians.
How do we fix it?
I wish.
How do we fix it?
That one day we wake up and it is not there.
How do we fix it?
Hello?
How do we fix this problem?
I think we should let it remain with the politicians and say no. Because for them, they are using it to draw sympathy. They are using it to divide and rule, and which is not a good thing.
As we conclude...
So to you and me, Andrew, Anton, let us say no to this. And if we do, they will remain with no one supporting them in this issue of tribalism. As
we conclude, Madam Katebe, you earlier mentioned here that as we approach the elections in August, what NGOCC would do is that they will support political parties who are going to adopt female candidates. I would like to find out, what sort of support you're going to give these, female candidates. But also, are you deliberately, or are you worried at the female presidential, candidates that are coming up? Also, are you going to, I don't know if it's sponsoring, female presidential candidates that intend to contest in these elections? And how will you support them?
Okay, so we've always supported female candidates, not financially, but with technical aspects and also materials where we manage to mobilize enough resources. This time around, much as we are so much dependent on our plans to mobilize resources to help our women conduct their campaigns successfully, we have also launched a fundraising button where we are asking you, Andrew, and everyone else to donate even as minimal as a 10-quarter into that account, so that at the end of the day, we can be able to fully support our women. We have received support from our cooperating partners, but in most cases, it's support that they will expect us to maybe conduct training and maybe acquire t-shirts. But at the end of the day, you find that our women will need money to go on the ground and work with the foot soldiers, and they will need for example, bicycles to give to the foot soldiers, and they help them to go into far-flung areas. So at the end of the day, we realize that we cannot manage to always want to convince the donors to give us money to use in those aspects. So we have decided to launch a donation button where everyone will be asked, those that are willing, not everyone, I may say, those that are willing to help the women excel will donate to that fund. So that's how we are resources side by side with the help from our cooperating partners who have always been there. They have been our all-weather friends, and we still expect that they will come through and help us put our women together. In terms of campaigning for the political parties that will adopt more women, I think it will just work like fitting into place, because if one political party has 10, 15 women, we will definitely go in all those areas where those women will be. That means we are already giving support to that political party. And because they will adopt so many women, definitely our support will be seen on the ground. We will campaign for the women. If you campaign for a councillor, normally the pattern in Zambia has been that if Beauty is contesting as a councillor and you, Andrew, as P, if one is voting for me and you, definitely our presidential candidate will be voted for. That is what we meant by campaigning for the political parties that will adopt more women. Because we'll be on the ground campaigning for the women, then definitely it translates into campaigning for a presidential candidate of that particular political party.
NGOCC Board Chairperson, Madam Beauty Katebe, thank you so much for making the time to appear on Costa Cross-Examination tonight.
Thank you.
Well,
As to the public, kindly vote for our women on the 13th of August, 2026. We love you. Love us back. Our time is now.
Well, that is a call to action by the NGOCC Board Chairperson, Madam Beauty Katebe. We were reviewing the speech delivered by the President on the progress made in the application of national values and principles. On behalf of the entire production crew, thank you so much for watching. My name is Andrew Mwansa. See you again next time. Good night for now.